Hello, and welcome to Sunflowers. A few days after Christmas, I stumbled into a thrift store and found this cute chest of drawers, and I knew I wanted to repaint them into something cool. So I took them home, and the first task was sanding. I went ahead and removed what I could of all of the old paint, as well as try to smooth out any dents or cracks in the wood itself. Now, I didn't remove all of the paint. My main priority was to make sure that the surface I'd be working on was as smooth as I could get it to avoid having any bumpy kind of textures, just because I knew that I would not be putting resin around this entire project. And here's just a shot of the sketch I did, kind of the under sketch for what I'll eventually paint over. I'm using watercolor pencils here for the color. I've been really trying to work on changing my style recently. I've really gotten into pop surrealism, so I wanted to kind of dive headfirst into using that skill set in making this chest of drawers. And then, of course, I had to go on and add a little snake just because they're cute. And here is the beads I've selected to go ahead and use to try and craft my own handle. So these clips are just me being fairly indecisive on how I want to construct the handle itself. I kind of go back and forth here, but in the end, I initially go with what I first had in mind, which is the pink bead and the little ring to go underneath it. When I initially had this in mind, I really wanted to try to find a way to use those bright blue beads because they just reminded me of candy. And I feel like with this style of art, having things like candy in the art itself just really embellishes it and makes it whimsical while you can still add kind of grotesque features into the artwork. So here I'm assembling a total of 4 of these kind of knobs, I guess. I mean, they are going to be used as knobs, but they are just beads. I'm assembling them with just some hot glue. They're not very practical, and I'm sure at some point, as you know, the drawers get more use, I will have to reassess how I did these. They will probably come apart at some point, but for now, it works. And here I am just using a tape runner to go ahead and line the backings of the watercolor paper. I use quite a fair bit of it just because I don't want things to start popping up out of place as I am putting the resin over top of it, because the resin is what will eventually keep everything together. But this just gave me a good idea of how I want them to be laid out on the actual piece of furniture. So now I am just filling out everything flush with resin. I have put these pieces of bejeweled ribbon on the sides already with resin, just to kind of help encase it so I don't have to worry about it running over the edges. And then here you see me going over a final cure with a black light. Now was a matter of finding how I wanted to place the knobs that I had made. So initially I was thinking I would go ahead and place them on the tops. However, I moved them to the side in the end result. And with that, everything's painted and ready to go, so we can have a final look.